What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action. Yes, we're back. Game number 2 between 4rco, who is now playing Zeus, well, still playing Zeus, and Revan, who is playing Hades, and he's in the red color. Look, I've got the scoreboard right. Look, it says 4rco on the left and Revan on the right. Very rarely do I get that right. But we managed to do it today, which is that just means it's a good day. It's a good day for you. It's a good day for me, and it's especially a good day for Age of Mythology. Don't ask me why. I don't know why today's better than any other day for Age of Mythology, but it's a good day nonetheless. We got the nose of the Sphinx here. Wow. I think I overreacted to that. Maybe, just maybe I overreacted to that. If you take a quick look at the bonus here of Hades, Hades gets an extra 25% building hit points, and Nose of the Sphinx gets an extra 15% building hit points. If Revan picks that relic up, he gets 40% building hit point increase. Amazing. Amazing. Is there anything else that could be any more amazing in this world? I'm not sure, but we are finding here that Revan is getting around the map with his toxotes incredibly nice. I probably could say this a little bit different. Everyone's complaining about my pronunciation here. Catoscopus is possibly the more correct pronunciation. But then again, if I said Catoscopus every single time, then you wouldn't have anything to complain about, and I would be upset. Because personally, infuriating people with my lack of ability to speak properly is one of my favorite pastimes. So it's going to be Catoscopus for the rest of this game, just to infuriate you all. Another relic has been uncovered here. Is the Thundercloud Shawl. Thundercloud Shawl. This one's a huge relic. This one here. In fact, if 4rco picks up both the Thundercloud Shawl and this relic up here, the Nose of the Sphinx, he can roleplay as Hades here. His army having an extra 5% pierce armor basically nullifies the extra 10% that the toxotes get. Not quite, obviously there's still a 5% increase, whatever. And then this relic here basically gives him the same advantage of having the extra building H points. H points. What's a H point? Don't ask me. Hit points. My brain is not functioning at all. The Nose of the Sphinx here is going to give him basically have the same hit points as the Hades. So it could be a wild, an absolutely wild situation to be a part of. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, 4rco's getting up his temple. 2 villagers on the temple. A little bit of a strange one there. He just definitely wanted to get that up. How are the resources looking here? 4rco not quite having the resources to advance. I'm surprised he went 2 villagers on that temple. Moving over onto the secondary hunt here with a ton of villagers. That's a lot of villagers to have out on second hunt here. And I think the same thing is happening over here for Revan. One of the things that I would advocate for is a maximum of, say, 8 villagers out on this hunt or 7 villagers out on this hunt, and the other villagers just sitting in the main base jumping onto the chickens. The reason being is that the resources you gain by putting these villagers over onto this hunt early are nullified by the walking time that you're going to need to bring them back to the base. So having only a certain amount of villagers walking out to your secondary hunt on a map like Oasis, where there's not really much else out there, can be a bit of a mistake. Now, Revan might be considering to use these villagers here to grab this town center and then jump onto this wood line. That's obviously one way to play it. So he might be making the right call. But 4rco here, he doesn't even know, well, he does know that there's a town center over here somewhere, but he doesn't know how good it is. He doesn't know what's on it. He's only now starting to pick this one up. So it's kind of like, maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. We'll have to wait and see what the actual plan is here. As 4rco, he's got 1 villager on the temple. He's not going to be going for those centaurs, even though he is going through Hermes. He's going for a very similar opening strategy here against the Hades of Revan. But with Revan now playing Hades and not playing Poseidon, things start getting maybe just a little bit more scary for the Zeus player. Where Poseidon, I feel like the matchup is slightly Poseidon favored. I think that the matchup of Hades versus Zeus is like even more skewed away from the Zeus player. So we'll see what's going to happen here as Ajax and Chiron popping out of the town center here. Still, we got this relic over here that hasn't been picked up. Jason popping out here to pick that one up, it seems. That's the town center coming down for 4rco as well. And Revan here, starting to get his units out. Still haven't seen him going for his town center. Walls coming up over here for Revan. Revan obviously scared of the centaur threat, so he's chucking these walls down, but there are no centaurs coming. And a lot of that comes down to he just hasn't scouted. This is one thing that you really have to do in the Greek mirror. When you're, well, not Greek mirror, when you're playing against Zeus, is Zeus has got this many. We do see the bolts on the Chiron there, but Zeus has got this many strats. Zeus is probably one of the most versatile strategic gods out there, maybe with the exception of maybe Set or something like that, where it's just vitally important to know where to send your scout to get the information you need just to know what your opponent's doing so you can react. Now, we do see 4rco getting his second town center up, so that will give Revan the information he needs to know that this is not centaurs coming for him. He doesn't have to worry about that. The early game bolt there onto the Chiron. He probably doesn't even need to rebuild Chiron here anytime soon, but he has done so. And the thing is, bolting Chiron does mean that you effectively bolted a villager as well, because it takes 17 seconds to train the Chiron. That's effectively one villager. It's one villager and a little bit. And you only really see that benefit once the Chiron is rebuilt, as we do see Thundercloud Shawl here getting picked up by the Chiron. I'm going to take that one back home. It's going to be a big help. But because Revan built it straight away, that bolt effectively was an immediately seeing that benefit of that villager kill straight away. So nice play there from 4rco, and Revan kind of getting baited a little bit into building the Chiron back out straight away. But we'll see how things are going to go now. Farm's starting to come down. It looks like 4rco, he's actually moved some goats over onto the second town center, which I really, really like, because he's got chickens here. He's got plenty of goats in the main base. We do see the units here of Revan moving forward, trying to catch this villager, but the villager makes his way back into the home base here. Going to jump onto the goats over there as 4rco, or Revan, excuse me, retreats back out. Walls are already up over here. We do see the Jason and Chiron fighting it out. Jason does win this fight, funnily enough, because he's got 34% pierce armor versus the 20% hack armor. Plus, he does 9.9 damage. So if you're in the melee range there, Jason's going to be very, very happy. Meanwhile, over here, Odysseus going to get a whole bunch of damage done onto Revan's Minotaur here. 4rco playing this one really nice and defensively. This is 100%. Oh, got to be careful about this here. This is a. We'll talk about it, but later. But Revan's been doing this. No, 4rco's been doing this really nicely. Whereas you don't really need to build. You don't really need to build yourself stables. You don't really need to build yourself military buildings on these maps, because there's nothing to attack. What are you going to attack? If you have some units out, what are you going to attack? The villagers on this town center? No, he's just going to put sentinels there. These villagers over here on this gold mine, it's walled in. Maybe this is something you could attack, but there's no real reason for Revan to be here. Revan should basically be in his home gold mine, but he's taking the advantage of pushing out over here because he knows nothing's coming. But point is that if there were military units here, these villagers would just move back home. So you just don't have anything to attack. And committing to building units in the classical age means that a player that rushes the heroic age will be able to get those counter units out and deal with them nicely. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, here's something that Revan could probably do. He's got so many more goats over than 4rco does. He's living the dream. But again, what 4rco did, which was nice, was separate his goats up. He could move these goats up to this position over here. You could utilize these berries. Oh, there's only 4 berries here. Maybe you should send some goats over here to this town center, as Revan's getting his 3rd town center. So too is 4rco getting his own 3rd town center. So they're booming, coming through. Very, very equal here, but for some reason, 4rco is in front here by quite a margin. He's up by 5 villages, as we do see Chiron getting sniped down. Nice play there from 4rco. One of the big advantages of Zeus has over Hades is that extra HP that comes from playing as Zeus. You get, is that right? Yeah. So Ajax has only got 264 HP. Jason has got 275 HP. Odysseus has got 352 HP. Chiron has got only 300 HP. So it's a big, big difference in the HP differential for the Zeus. Zeus's main god bonus is in heroes. As we see the villagers here, very, very riskily going to move forward and try and grab these baboons here. This is not really value. 400 food here. Probably better to just throw farms down at this point. So now a villager over here going to be getting chased down ever so slightly. As the villagers do jump back into the town center. More farms coming up. Hippocon coming out. And the army has to retreat back home. Looking for something to do here. But again, I just don't... I mean, we do see some stables up. We do see a handful of Hippocon coming out just to be careful here. But I just don't see the point in it. You can see Revan. He's almost able to advance to the next stage. He's getting those resources in. He's got 3 town centers. He's got the villagers. He is behind on villager count quite considerably here. But... st4rco's house, he needs to get his houses down. Looks like he's not paying attention to that just yet. No houses coming up just yet. So that's going to be a little bit of an opportunity for Revan to catch up on the villager count. There's one villager getting taken out over here. And definitely I guess one thing the building army early in the Greek Mirror does is it allows you to get map control. It allows Revan to move across this map and throw these walls up really, really calm, collectedly. He knows that there's no problems there. He can take control of here. He can wall off over here, cause a lot of problems for st4rco in the future. He can also send villagers in to potentially wall over here if he has more army than his opponent does. But at the moment, we're both sitting at about 80 population. Lots of resources in the bank here for st4rco. He's about to be looking to advance to the next age. Apollo is kind of the only real option here for st4rco. As Dionysus, there doesn't tend to ever be a really strong land idea for Dionysus. You can potentially go Dionysus in team games with Zeus, because then you can get the spirited charged Thracian horses and kind of go for mass Hippocon raids, lots of different things to be raiding. In 1v1s, that extra speed doesn't end up mattering that much from the cavalry, and the extra HP, you just tend to not have the places to attack. People just build towers, get crenellations, and those Hippocon stop being that useful. So Apollo is coming through, and a big advantage here yet again from st4rco managing to advance quite a bit earlier than Revan has. However, I don't know what I was about to say there, but however, that's right. However, Revan is caught up on the villager count somehow, some way. Revan was behind by 5-6 villagers, and he's managed to catch up, and that says a lot about how important it is to be on top of your house timings. So we do see these toxotes coming in, getting some good damage done onto st4rco. st4rco doesn't really want to take this fight just yet. He's just advanced. He knows that it's going to be important there. We see some walls coming through here as Revan's trying to get some sort of security on this location here as well. st4rco comes over here. He's going to be trying to chase down these villagers. Random walls trying to come through here for Revan, but those villagers are both going to be getting cleaned up here. And I imagine a market has to be going down somewhere here for st4rco. He hasn't thrown any military academies up just yet. There's the market here for st4rco, right in the corner. A little bit of a Madrius market, but we'll give him credit. He's made the effort to go down to the corner straight away. No problems there, and he definitely wants to be advancing to the Mythic Age as soon as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Revan moving across here. He's got to be careful. These toxotes, while they are Hades toxotes, much stronger than normal, they are archers, and if you catch them out with enough of these Hippocon, you will be able to take them out. The only thing is that st4rco here, 132 population, his Hippocon kind of all across the map. I don't know where else he's got units. He's got his Manticore over here. There's the toxotes pushing through here, trying to take out those villagers on that side there. Fortress coming up as well for st4rco. Walls coming through here as well, trying to maintain all of the pressure that he can here. But the fortress for st4rco means Heliopoli will be on the way for st4rco in the future. And we'll see if Revan's going to be able to adapt to that. It's pretty rare you see 18 toxotes taking out a gate here, but he's going for it, and eventually it will be falling. Oracle coming through. This is a bit of a rare technology there. Oracle is an extra line of sight for your buildings coming through for 4rco as well. A bit of a rare one. Normally you see like the temple healing. What's it called? Temple of healing? Not temple healing. Temple of healing technology from Apollo. But very rarely you see Oracle. You just look at the map here from all those blue buildings. You see so much of the map. Meanwhile, this wall here getting broken down here as Revan has to retreat back. And 4rco looking to push through to maybe get some villager kills. There's nothing really on this side of the map though, which I think Revan knows. One extra thing that Revan could do is throw a wall here or another building here and then make it hard for 4rco to kind of utilize this opening that he's created. As we also see Peltast coming out for 4rco. Now, this isn't something that I recommend auto-queuing, but there's definitely an opportunity to build a handful of Peltast, like in this kind of situation where a Hades player is going mass toxotes. I would never auto queue this. I'd probably build 5 max and then just go back into toxotes, because there's just too much opportunity for Peltast to attack units not named archers. Like right there, attacking the Chiron is just, you don't get any value. But right now, Revan he's getting beaten up pretty hard by these Peltast. Though, that being said, once the toxotes start actually targeting down the Peltasts actually kind of lose. Though there are obviously more toxotes than there are Peltasts. But the point stands. As a fortress coming through, it might be time for a 4rco to get out some Petropolis. And that's exactly what he's going for here. As Hephaestus... Wait, was there a Hephaestus in? No, Revan's managed to advance through Hephaestus first here in this game. That's absolutely huge. Meanwhile, Underworld Passage getting cast on this position over here to try and defend this gold mine here. I don't think Revan's going to care at all, in all honesty, about this. That Underworld, where did it go from? Underworld from the top town center down to the bottom here. This isn't something he's going to care about at all, because now an Underworld into this back town center is going to be absolutely brutal. There is a ceasefire, but you can Underworld the back here and then leave and attack this front and take this out while he's trying to deal with everything that's coming on this position. It could be absolutely huge. Like an Underworld here to here would be huge in the kind of early late game for Revan, as Revan's now in the Mythic Age. He needs to drop down his Plenty Vault and everything else. Now the Plenty Vault is down. The unit's going to be retreating back. We do see a whole bunch of Petropoli, excuse me, hopping out here for 4rco. Push in here. Forge of Olympus coming through for Revan. Mr. Jason comes in, going to attempt to help out. For some reason here, well, not for some reason. I'll tell you why he has to retreat at this point. It's because these are Peltast and not Toxotes. If he just went 5 Peltast, the rest of these Toxotes would have been able to help out against those hoplites, but just overdoing it on those just a little bit here. As Revan's still trying to work it out. Forge of Olympus coming through. Stone Wall coming through as well here. As the Donkey Caravan's getting shut down ever so slightly. As it seems like that line to go from the market to the town center is going straight through those Toxotes in the back here. 4rco tries to chase these ones down. Now Revan comes in with his Colossus. He might even try and just snipe down that Underworld Passage here with the Colossus. Yeah, at this point, Revan's 145 or 145 pop. 4rco, he's got all the resources. He's just not able to get up to full population here. Maybe he doesn't have enough military buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does have enough, but I don't think... Is he training from all of them? He's not training from every one of these buildings at this point. Lots of idle military buildings as the Underworld Passage is getting taken down. But... Heracles plus the Petropolis plus the Odysseus to take out the Colossus. Good play here. Villager's going to be repairing this one back up. There's the Mythic Age for 4rco. Going to be dropping down the Plenty Vault over here. As more units coming in for Revan, he has to realize he's got to retreat back here. As st4rco is really held here nicely. He's in a good position. Revan here, he's also in a fine position. He's got the advantage on the copper weapons, mail shields coming through first. As Forge of Olympus is coming through, it's going to be maybe a minute of an advantage in total if st4rco and both players produce all their armory upgrades straight away. So we'll have to wait and see. But flood control, coinage, medium infantry, medium cavalry, all the technologies start coming down as the Mythic Age is hit. And st4rco going to have to retreat back here. Bronze weapons, bronze mail, bronze shields coming in for Revan. Big advantage there. Just about to pop for Revan. Revan might want to go for that Underworld play fairly soon, but he is just building nothing but toxotes here. There's a fortress coming up over here for Revan. What else has he got going? More toxotes coming out of his main base. I think he's kind of missed his building rally point there. There's lots of units currently sitting idle here. And st4rco has to kind of work out how he's going to beat this Hades Archer Ball army here. Is he building Heliopolis? Not just yet. He needs to get those out to kind of cause some problems for those toxotes here. As the Petropoli are now going to start trying to take out the fortress. A little bit late to the party here. But the damage will come through very fast. As some heavy Hippocon now starting to come through here. Copper weapons, mail shields coming in for st4rco. But have to remember, Revan is already full bronze. So until those upgrades come through, the Revan army is just trading incredibly efficiently here. But again, just similarly to last game, Revan hasn't started his trade route yet. And this just means that st4rco is in front by something like 9 villages here. Or 10 villages now. So it's a big deal to get that trade route started in this match, especially controlling that corner of the map here. And st4rco is playing into that nicely thus far. But Revan here, he's still got that advantage on the armor. We'll see if st4rco is going to be able to catch up to it, realizing that his copper armor has completed. And starting the next one here would be absolutely huge. But Revan is slowly chipping away. Bronze weapons, mail shields coming in. So he's finally worked it out. Now st4rco has to retreat, wait for his armor upgrades to come in, and then maybe he'll be able to deal with this Revan units. Revan here, he's got enough resources to get himself engineers really early. He's got enough resources to get himself some very important armor upgrades in iron weapons and iron mail. Probably even could get actually all of them right now if he so chose. But he hasn't opted to do so, just waiting on that one. And that's giving st4rco every single moment here to catch back up where that's concerned. But now we see Bellerophon coming out. Bellerophon's a great unit to have in these situations as well, though, because you can use him to basically jump in onto one of the back toxotes and then just run back and forth for 20 seconds. So he'll be able to kill the toxote, run back and forth for 20 seconds, dodging arrow fire and distracting, and then do the same thing, pick off another unit. It can be a really useful way for the fights. But this is the thing here. When you've got these Heliopolis or Heliopoli in on this fight, you have to micro your toxotes. Your opponent has to micro them, and this is exactly what's happening here. As Restoration gets clicked there, the Bellerophon moving up onto this top side of the map. Not sure exactly where that's going or what the purpose of that was. Potentially a misclick. The Revan's army, very strong at this point. I mean, that all being said, if st4rco had just managed to get himself out, full population Hippocon here, he could surround this and take down all these units very easily. But he's just got all these archers that just aren't going to be that useful here. Alternatively, if you could get a whole bunch of hoplites here to just march in and take out the toxotes, that would also be good. As the Heliopoli do both get taken down. Underworld Passage surviving for a little bit longer here, but st4rco slowly but surely falling further and further behind here. But both players sitting at full bronze. Still haven't seen any of those iron upgrades coming in. As Bellerophon here, he's getting snared by the Hades Shade. That's the one thing you got to be careful about, is melee damage coming through. And for some reason here, Revan training this Perseus. Perseus is definitely the worst of the 3 Mythic Age heroes. But he does come with a really big special ability, which one hits myth units. So if your opponent is like a fire giant maker, or making Colossus, or making I don't know, say Phoenix or Avengers, then Perseus is like max value, as we do see that Ceasefire does have to get cast there. But in this kind of like human unit centered fight, it's there's no reason to build Peltasts. Peltasts is kind of like a reactive unit. Once you see the myth units, then you build Peltasts. And yes, Peltasts takes 27 seconds to train, but really a myth unit can't do that much damage in 30 seconds. So you're going to get that out, you're going to kill the myth unit, and then you're going to have that Peltast there to help out for later. Meanwhile, we see Revan taking this situation here with the ceasefire being cast. He's ready to grab this corner, setting up all the walls really, really nicely. We might see a market coming up in this corner, and now we see full iron coming through for both players, both at the same time. No advantages to be had where that's concerned. But St4rco is up 20 or nearly 20 camel caravans, and Revan hasn't started his at all. So what does this mean? What does this actually mean tangibly? This means that Revan has effectively got 5 more units out in terms of military. No, not 5 more units. 10 more units out militarily than St4rco does. So St4rco needs to figure out how to spend his resources in a way that gives him an advantage elsewhere, because he's not going to be able to win these fights being down in population. We are seeing St4rco champion archers coming through, but this army of Revan, like I said, it's just too much population here. And in the economy that St4rco is gaining from having his 20 donkey caravan lead, Revan is gaining that back in damage dealt to St4rco by picking off units. So it's like, which way do you play? What's the better way to play? And Revan is making a point for being a little bit more hungry for those military units rather than making an inefficient trade route. We also see fortified walls already, and that's so disgusting. Those walls are so strong. Look at that, 1950 Hades fortified walls compared to 600 or 650 with the upgrade, with the relic. But 600 HP is normally what those walls have. As the underworld is getting slowly pushed in, and now we see some units pushing it over here onto St4rco's town center. We see Jason coming out to try and deal with this Colossus, and St4rco does get that Jason out nice and fast here to deal with this, but he does also need to deal with the Heliopolis here. We've got the Odysseus coming over here as well to deal with this. Looks like this is not going to go down anytime soon, but every single little distraction that comes in, big moment here for Revan to push through, and Revan's now making a commitment in onto this underworld passage, just getting closer and closer to falling as the hoplites join the party. The villagers are not able to out-repair that pressure that the hoplites and the Heliopolis did on that position. Well played there by Revan, managing to make that distraction happen. Town Center is now going to be an open threat moving forward in this game, while St4rco has to defend his trade route over here. He's also going to have to somehow defend his top town center, being in 2 places at once. Now we're seeing an unfortunate choice here from St4rco. Maybe a misclick, maybe not, but he's starting to build Myrmidon, which they're not the unit. Myrmidon don't get a bonus against Greek. For whatever reason, that's how it works. Myrmidon get a bonus against everyone but Greek. Norse, Egyptian, and Atlantean. They don't, so they get their double attack, or is it 100% bonus damage, 50% bonus damage. As it looks like St4rco does end up tapping out in that point. But to finish the point, Myrmidon against Greek, you're never going to see them. They have no place in the Greek mirror. So you just normally don't see them built. And St4rco maybe desperately trying to build them. Don't know why, but build a couple of them and not able to make it work. Anyways, Revan gets the dub. Really nice play here. Good usage of his population advantage here. And St4rco just couldn't quite work out how to utilize that extra economy that he had. And generally speaking, the simple solution is build towers. Stop fighting, build towers. Towers are, if you get a tower up, if you just take a look at what the damage of a tower is, 10.4 damage, 2 arrows. So if your tower is attacking in a fight, compare it to this toxotes, 11.05, it's basically worth a toxotes worth of damage times 2. So worth 2 toxotes worth of damage. So you can make up for being behind 20 population in actual military by having yourself, 4-5 towers. You can make up for that. And that's all that really St4rco needed to do to hold this position, instead of just continuing to fight down population. But he's not really to know that. He doesn't know that there's no trade here. You can work it out by selecting your opponent's army, counting how many units are actually there, but in the heat of the battle, that can be quite tough. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.